Alright guys, welcome back, and in this video I want to explain the basics behind DNS spoofing. Now DNS spoofing is actually a type of man-in-the-middle attack, and if you guys don't know what a man-in-the-middle attack is, it's really simple to explain. So basically, and by the way, if you can't tell, in this little example, this is the good person and this is the hacker or attacker, and we'll just pretend that they're at a coffee shop or whatever. I don't know why. It doesn't really matter, but why not pretend they're at a coffee shop? So normally, if nothing bad's going on, then what's going to happen is this girl that I'm going to randomly give the name Emily, she's going to have a conversation with the access point, say like go to Facebook, whatever, and the access point is going to go off to Facebook, get whatever it needs, and then send it back to her. So that's how normal conversations work. Like the most simple explanation of it, whatever. Now, a man-in-the-middle attack can actually mean a couple things. The first thing it can mean is that we have an attacker and he is just pretty much snooping or listening on the traffic. So the first type, like I said, is just eavesdropping. Now, another type of man-in-the-middle attack is a little bit more deadly, and that's what I'm going to be showing you guys, and that is where the attacker actually positions himself in the middle of that conversation. So now he isn't just listening to it, but all of the traffic between Emily and the access point actually passes through him. And that way he can inject packets, he can alter all the traffic any way he wants, and that's what I'm going to be showing you guys in the next tutorial. But before we do that, we actually need to understand that this attack is actually broken up into two parts. The first part is the man in the middle. So before he can start altering traffic, doing whatever, this attacker first just needs to gain position in the middle of their conversation. Now the way that he does this is through ARP spoofing. Now if you guys are completely unfamiliar with ARP, basically what it is it's a way that this access point and all of these devices actually know which IP correlates to which MAC address. So we'll say that this iPad right here, it has the MAC address of A, whatever. Not a real MAC address, but there you go. Now this attacker, his interface, he has a MAC address of BB. Awesome handwriting, Bucky. Awesome handwriting. So whenever these devices first join a network, this router and all of these devices are going to start learning which MAC address correlates to which IP address. So we'll give this the IP address of 1.1.1.1, and we'll give this the IP address of 2.2.2.2. So what ARP spoofing is pretty much messing with this correlation. Now this way, once the router is aware which IP address correlates to which MAC address, whenever it gets traffic from the internet and that traffic is destined for, let's say, 1.1.1.1, it says, oh, okay, so I know that is meant for this device A. So routers use this, the internet uses this, and ARP is how it can correlate this IP address to this device. Now for the first part of the attack, the man in the middle, what we're going to do is we're going to be sending these devices, both Emily and the access point, the wrong ARP answers. So basically, when the access point asks, who is Emily? We're going to be saying, oh, that's me, right here. I am Emily. And whenever Emily says, okay, I need to send something to the internet, who is the access point? I'm going to say, yep, that's me too. So they're going to believe that, well, Emily's going to believe that I'm the access point, and the access point is going to believe that I am Emily. And for most of the traffic, what I can do is I can just send it through. So whenever she wants to send something to the internet, I can just pass it through, and they are none the wiser. But some traffic, such as, when she's going to her like bank's website, or maybe, well, DNSs we're going to be seeing in the next tutorial, we can alter it in some kind of way. Maybe if there's a file, we may want to add some cool features to it, but that's what we're going to do. So then, once we inject ourselves in the middle of their conversation, and they just believe that they're talking to each other directly, what we can do is continue with the second part of the attack, which is actually the DNS spoof. Now, whenever Emily starts going to websites, she is going to need to know the IP address of those servers. So she's going to go to bankofamerica.com, and she knows the domain name, bankofamerica.com. But in order for computers to actually connect to that server, they need to know the IP address. So domain names are just for humans. IP addresses are what computers actually need. So her browser behind the scenes, it's going to go, I'll just write, what's the IP of Bank of America? All right, BOA, if you can't read my handwriting. So her browser is supposed to send this off to a DNS server to get the answers, and that's what question it's going to ask. Now, the DNS server is going to respond something like 2.2.2.2, and then when it gets to us, we're going to say, all right, Bank of America, that is 192.168.0.11, and that is actually the attacker right here. So whenever, like I said, she is wondering what the IP address of the server is, we're pretty much gonna lie to her and give her the wrong answer. So then the attacker can host a fake Bank of America webpage, and she's gonna type in all of her credentials, and you think they're gonna go to the real Bank of America server? So this guy has them, she is pwned, and that is the two-step process. Remember, the first one is ARP spoofing, where you gain entry in the middle of this conversation. And the second one is DNS spoofing, where whenever she needs the IP address of a server, we give her the wrong answer. So that's what we're going to be doing. So I'll see you guys in the next video.